In May of 2016, Everett was born, and as soon as he was born, they automatically knew something was wrong. They took him down to the NICU where they ran a bunch of tests and different things. One of the biggest things that they found was that his platelet level was at 6,000, which is very, very low. So they gave him a platelet transfusion, and he stayed in the NICU for what?
He stayed in, this was at Jackson General, so he stayed in the NICU there for 3 weeks, and at 8 weeks old, we found out that he had what's called Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome is a rare blood disorder that affects 1 out of 4 million boys worldwide, and basically affects the platelets, affects your immune system, affects your, it could lead to autoimmune disorders, leading to certain cancers, and we just didn't want that for our little boy. And I think that was the hardest part for us, not knowing, and they told us that obviously the best cure for him was a bone marrow transplant. Also, that was the most invasive thing to do, and finding a donor was a 25% chance of finding a match. At that point, our little girl was only 3, and we kind of debated, do we put her on the line of putting her through that procedure at that age, and not only were we trying to be an advocate for our son, but now our daughter, and make it a life-changing decision for her that she didn't really have an input on. But we went with it, and she was a 10 out of 10 match for him. And so in our mind, we wanted to do a transplant. And at the hospital we were at, they told us, no, absolutely not, that wasn't what we needed to do. Which was heartbreaking for us as a family, because we knew deep down inside that we didn't want to see our son live to possibly 14 years old. And so then I just basically started cold calling doctors around, all the way from Texas to Cincinnati to Centennial. And that's what brought us here in Nashville. And they agreed to do the transplant for us. And I think it was just amazing to actually have someone say yes to us and know that our little boy would get another second chance at life.
So the transplant, we started it actually of May the following year, so last year. And he went through about 15 rounds of chemo to get his immune system completely down, all of his blood counts down. And then him and Adley went on the same day, and they took her bone marrow out and put it in to Everett. And so we were at Centennial for 2 months.
About a month and a half at Centennial, trying to figure out during that process, because he was having some reactions from the chemo, some reactions from meds. His biggest thing, he really wasn't wanting to take the meds, so therefore they put an NG tube in at that point. And so after there, with us being 2.5 hours away from home, we got to stay local here in Nashville, which definitely helped us out as a family. I think that was one of my biggest concerns, is having the close-knit support, the family support, the friend support. So how we heard about Ronald McDonald House was basically I connected with a social worker here at Centennial. And I think that was one of my hardest things. I was like, how are we going to do this being 2.5 hours away? And so I basically called Ronald McDonald House and asked, because I didn't really know the process. Like I said, it was basically starting being young parents. It was hard for us. We just kind of had to reach out and do what we had to do. And they didn't have a room. And I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. And it wasn't until the day we got admitted, they were like, well, we'll see until, because families leave. I mean, I understand now from the different perspective, like, you never want to push a family aside, because it's hard. It is hard being in the hospital and having 2 little ones and another sibling to take care of. But so they told us the day that we went into the hospital, they gave us a call, and it was probably one of the happiest calls that I'd received, saying that we have a room available for you.
You don't realize that people care as much as they do until, you don't have anywhere else to go. and they didn't know us. And they treated our family like it was their own.
And I think, like, even the times that Jake and I weren't able to be here, specifically knowing the family that was able to be here, and I mean, just they reached out to us like it was, they knew us to come here and do this today. And it really touched my heart because, like I said, Jake and I weren't able to be here a lot. We seen it from the outside. If it wasn't Adley telling us something that was amazing here, it was family that was watching her here, just to lay her head at night. But it's amazing that when you need someone in that time, that they're there no matter what.